Also, one more thing. It is freaking frankly concerning and scary at a fundamental level that more people in the United States of America don't realize what I now do, which is the tu quo fallacy, the you too argument, which is essentially, when I kind of signed out and I wrote in response to my opponent tu quo bitch, way back in the day, what I was trying to say was that the person was basically trying to argue that two wrongs made for a right, and that I was wrong because of the fact that they picked up on some kind of underlying hypocrisy to what I was trying to say. I was just fundamentally pointing out that you could not do that in an informal academic debate, and that it was only because of the fact that what was happening was taking place in cyberspace that the person was even able to get away with what they had done, but that I remained completely unconvinced of the validity of their point because of that. But the fact that more people don't realize just how hollow and empty an appeal to your opponent's hypocrisy actually is, and the fact that it is intellectually dishonest, and that the only way that somebody like me can now do it is to deceive myself, to lie to myself and pretend that I don't see it. I don't see that in reality that the appeal to hypocrisy is nothing more, and not even slightly better than an ad hominem fallacy against the man. You're trying to shift the discussion to the person making the argument rather than the person's argument. It doesn't matter that that through using Facebook by being concerned about privacy that I've behaved in a hypocritical manner. That isn't ultimately relevant to the truth of my claim, and the only way to go there in a debate is to lie to yourself. Pretend that you don't actually see it, that you're not able to see that two wrongs don't make for a right, and that you know my misbehavior towards my own values don't make my values invalid in that regard. I mean, we've all been in this abusive relationship with so many of these platforms, and you know we've ultimately tolerated it, and done so largely because of the fact that the network effect provides enough value that like we couldn't stay in touch with some of the people we love and care about the most without the platform, despite the fact that it is abusing us through these privacy practices. you know I don't like but I don't have to like what Facebook is doing, to be using it. That's what blows me away in the stupidity of people. Like, our education system is clearly failing, to a huge extent, if even people in IT are unable to see past this. And the dumb kettle logic that we're being hit with. I mean, seriously. Like, I'm not being inauthentic in any way, shape, or form either to call Mac OS and iOS malware. That's how I really feel about it, and I don't care that I wasn't asked what my opinion is. I literally could not possibly care less. I have every right to promulgate my view through the internet, whether the internet asked for my opinion or not. If you do not like me sharing my view about Mac, then I suggest you submit your complaints to DevNull, which, for those of you who do not understand what I mean, it's the term for the Bitbucket on Linux, as in the trash bin on Windows, as in I could not care less about the fact that it bothers you that I'm insulting something that you love. I think you're misguided to love it.